Preparing a meal for your family requires care. Cooking for thousands of community members simultaneously requires industrial precision. But in many large-scale operations, the tools managing this massive effort are fragmented: whiteboards, group texts, and disjointed spreadsheets. This creates a communication gap between the warehouse storing the ingredients and the cooking line preparing them. Without real-time data connecting the two, kitchen staff are forced to rely on estimation. They guess how much rice to pull from the shelf, and they guess how much spice to use based on gut feeling. When a system of this size forces humans to estimate, it leads to consistent, unrecorded stock losses that remain hidden within the daily noise of the kitchen. FMB HQ serves as a digital twin of the physical pantry. This logic model shows how a physical bag of rice moving off a shelf is mirrored by a data point moving in the database. The rule of this architecture is absolute. If an ingredient physically moves in the real world, it must move digitally in the system. To enforce this, every item entering the warehouse gets a system-generated barcode. If a bag does not have a printed label, as far as the system is concerned, it does not exist. By shifting from tracking generic ingredients to tracking specific physical batches, the system systematically targets the reliance on guesswork within the kitchen. The workflow begins long before the food arrives. Based on the exact headcount for an upcoming event, the system calculates and generates precise procurement lists. When a delivery truck pulls up to the central store, the physical goods are received through the stock-in process. This diagram illustrates how a generic delivery of rice becomes a tracked digital asset. The generated batch label attaches 3 critical data points to the physical bag: the cost in rupees, a strict expiry date, and a specific physical storage zone. Forcing every arrival to become a specific labeled batch defends the operation against the lost or forgotten inventory that often accumulates at the back of a shelf. Once the food is stored, the system enforces a strict inventory protocol: first expired, first out, or FIFO. This data map shows how the software tracks expiry dates of identical ingredients across multiple locations. If a worker tries opening a new bag of spice in one kitchen, the software blocks the action, detecting an older bag in another location. This enforcement removes human convenience from the equation, ensuring ingredients are used in the exact order they expire. In a busy kitchen, chefs don't have time for desktop computers. Instead, they scan a QR code taped to their prep station using a smartphone. That single scan instantly opens a live, unalterable ingredient manifest tailored specifically for that event. This UI breakdown shows how the system takes a 1 kilogram baseline recipe and scales it up. It dictates exact gram requirements based on the precise thal head count, moving the process away from manual estimation. Synchronizing the chef's exact requirements with the warehouse's oldest available batch directly addresses the root source of overpreparation. In traditional operations, there is a major blind spot once an event ends: what happens to the ingredients that were never cooked? FMB HQ introduces a formal surplus return workflow. The event manager weighs the exact remaining grams of unused ingredients and logs them back into the software. This flowchart tracks that returned stock. It enters a digital quarantine zone for inspection and approval, then loops back to the front of the queue for the next available event. Capturing and strictly rerouting surplus closes the operational loop, ensuring end-of-day leftovers are treated as usable capital for the next meal. With this architecture, waste is treated as a tracked, measurable anomaly rather than an expected cost of operation. This executive dashboard illustrates how the software categorizes every type of loss, whether it is spoilage, damage, or prep waste, and translates that weight directly into a monetary value. Providing leadership with this level of visibility allows them to identify and address systemic errors in the workflow. By linking procurement and stock to exact recipe calculations, FMB HQ erases the gap between the warehouse and the chef. Tracking every gram and rupee across thousands of meals builds a highly structured historical dataset, which serves as the foundation for future artificial integration. It is a system built with the precision of enterprise software and the soul of community service, actively optimizing to feed generations to come.